Good evening, magical seekers. Brian here with BMK Magic Explorations. It's been a bit since I last did some content for this channel, so I've been thinking of something and decided we might as well go over this real quick as a little bit of a appetizer before I get some more things going. We're going to be taking a look, as I'd said, this channel will also look at magic of both types in popular media, such as movies, television shows, books, etc. And so I've got a little bit of a collection here, so I guess I will go ahead and go over it with you. Some of these are more recent mail calls, and some are more recent local pickups. A lot of them around the time that I got this channel going, or a bit before, or since. Anyway, first off, I got from my local game exchange retailer a copy used of The Covenant. Nice if you're into warlocks and all. This film wasn't very well. It's got a little bit of a cult following, but acting's kind of wooden and all that. Anyway, we'll get into more detail on all these as I decide to get around to giving each one of them a proper overview and review. For now, we're just going over the collection. Let me get that back tied up. Okay. Then this one's very recent. I got this one on the 3rd of this month from my local Big Lots. Cost me, I think it was around $4.99 new. This is both a Blu-ray and DVD plus digital copy of the house with the clock in its walls, which I hadn't taken a look into this film much before, but it's actually a pretty interesting one, if you like warlocks, witches, etc. And Jack Black's always funny, but he can play serious too when he needs to. Also, it's nice to have the copies at both Blu-ray and DVD. You see, late last year, I upgraded from having just a regular DVD player, which I'd had for a long time, a Philips model, which I do still have, to upgrading to ordering and getting a Philips model dropped off from my local Walmart store. They brought it right to the door, which plays both. Blu-rays are still a little bit more expensive option, you know, and so are the players, but really they're not as much of a disparity as it was when they came out in 2006, so. And there's also some things you can only find and add to collections of stuff on Blu-ray these days. So why not? Okay, up next. Another I picked up from my local game exchange retailer. A used copy of Sleeping Beauty, the 50th anniversary edition. This one's kind of interesting because, let me take a look here. Right, I almost forgot. See, it says it's Blu-ray disc here for the original animated feature. But here in this front flap here, it also contains a regular DVD copy that was never opened, although I got this used. I had to cut this open to access it. See if I can't get it to move out of there. It's in here somewhere. Let me look. Let me look and see here. Okay, never mind. My stupid mistake. You see, this one's just the Blu-ray, and it's a 2-disc Platinum Edition, which has quite a few special features and all. Oh, here we go, right here. On the front here, this right here, it says right here, the bonus DVD movie disc. I had to cut this open, and right there is a regular DVD copy. Wondering where the heck that got to. And it had never been opened, so it was a little bonus that I got without even realizing it was in there at first. It wasn't too bad. I'd gotten a copy from them used also, which I want to show you, of Maleficent. And I said, well, I remember when I was a kid seeing the original Sleeping Beauty, but it had been so long, I said, since I had a copy, I'd see which one was good and see what I could do about getting it back on track. It's a pretty good film, really, for being a bit short, maybe. And next up we have Maleficent itself, which I also got at my local game exchange retailer as a used copy, but it's a good one. It is, again, Blu-ray and DVD, and it does have both in here. In fact, my friends Becky and Frank, who live over there, which is nearby where I found the pentagram, which I showed off in the short video, they live in an apartment, like, on the corner right upstairs, so... And I'd loan them the DVD copy since they don't have Blu-ray capabilities, and they both are fine. I like this one in a way because you can kind of understand, you know, okay, the original Sleeping Beauty, we get the impression Maleficent's just an automatically evil being. No other explanation given. Here we find out more or less, with the story being told from not her, but Aurora, Princess Aurora, is who's supposed to be the narrator. What more or less what really happened, which Maleficent, what she really is what you would call a dark fairy, and she's not necessarily the last of her kind, or even close, as we find out with the sequel. But what really sets her off on a path of doing some evil is being a woman, or in her case, a female dark fairy, badly scorned and betrayed. Which kind of makes more sense. A lot of people aren't just automatically evil and go off doing like that. Usually there's something behind it, so being vengeful I can see as being much more of an explanation that makes sense than what the original Sleeping Beauty would have had us believe. And again, this one was both DVD and Blu-ray, and is actually, I like this one pretty well. Angelina Jolie's one of those actresses I think she probably gets by on her looks about as much as talent, you know. Take Tomb Raider and stuff. But she pulls off real well with Maleficent and all that, and I enjoyed her in this one. Let's see, next up. Ah, yes. Now, if you're into any form of neo-paganism or something like that, or the witchcraft, anything like that, many would consider, if you don't have a copy of this or haven't seen it, the craft, you're really missing out. Excuse me, in there, the thing has a broken... it's kind of busted up on the inside, so I've got to be careful with it. It's only got like a half to keep it in there. It got a little bit scratched up, you know, but nothing serious enough it won't play. But anyway, this is an old classic, an old favorite. It's one of my first that I remember seeing that really, really got me interested beyond what I was in this type of belief and all, you know, and understanding better. Sure, a lot of things are really fictionalized and all, and everything, but it's still a fairly realistic account of what the real thing can seem like. Also, not to mention, actress Fairuza Balk here, that'd be Nancy right here. She actually was and is still a practicing, I don't know if she considers herself Wiccan or what, but she considers herself something of a neo-pagan witch, and she did then, and she helped with some of the consulting and bringing stuff in on the film, and kind of one of the reasons why, to me, it's kind of sad her character is the one who ended up being the one who went apparently power mad and turned out to be villainous. Could happen to anybody, I guess. Gonna be careful not to set that one anywhere but right there for now. Okay. Next up, what do I have in here? You guys would have seen this at this channel's debut, when I debuted the channel, The Wizard of Oz. I also got this from my local game exchange retailer. This one's pretty nice. It's 70th Anniversary Edition. And on top of that, it's also got quite a bit of special features. As a matter of fact, it tells you in here the special features all put together like 3 hours long, which is probably about twice or more the length of the original film. Some are kind of interesting to watch if you like that type of stuff. I got partly because first I picked up from there a used copy here, just a regular Blu-ray copy, no DVD copy with this one, of Oz, the Great and Powerful, which I kind of like too because it gives us a little bit more story of how the Wizard of Oz got there, what the thing with the Wicked Witches were, which if you think about it, there's a lot of different versions of those stories, but this take is kind of very interesting. And also that Disney did this as another spiritual successor to the original Wizard of Oz is interesting. As a matter of fact, Fairuza Balk, I was just mentioning with The Craft, she was in their first one, which was Return to Oz, back in the 1980s. This one, she was a very, very little girl. In fact, I remember seeing that one and being more familiar with it than this, the original Wizard of Oz, even though we had a copy of this too on VHS when I was a kid growing up. But anyway, Disney's done a pretty good job of that type of stuff, and author Frank Baum's world with the Land of Oz is pretty interesting if you really get into it. Sure, none of the films are quite accurate to the original books or anything like that, but they're not so far gone. Ooh, you silly air, get out of the bag so I can tie it off right. Thank you. Okay. Now, I actually picked these two up today. Well, it's actually 3 of them put together. On the stage magic or performance magic side, you know, with stage magicians and all. Now you see me. This is and the sequel here. This is pretty cool in a way. Of course, I imagine any banks or anything like that, anybody who might be silly enough to try a copycat something like this would try a target. Probably this film tipped off to don't even entertain the idea of allowing somebody to try and use your facility for an illusion like that. After all, these people got robbed blind. Still kind of a cool deal though, and I don't believe I ever saw the sequel, but I did see the original Now You See Me, so it'll be interesting to take a look into both again. Can kind of tell here, this one I haven't even opened yet. Nor the other one I picked up, that one I picked up at my local Family Dollar down here. While I picked up at my, today at Big Lots, the Magic Sword. Which, this one's from way back in, let me see, where does it say? Not sure if it says on here the original year that this thing was released, but, or I may just not be able to read it. Oh, here we go. Not sure, but I think it says 1961, so this one's a bit old. Well, that's Basil Rathbone, who played Sherlock Holmes a lot in other things, so then I'll tell you this one's kind of an old one, but I'm sure it'll be pretty good. He basically, there's an evil sorcerer, kidnaps a princess, and he has to go and take care of it. Hey, I'd prefer that the sorcerer be in more of a positive light in a film, but I'll take what I can get. There's not too much wrong with the stereotypical stuff anyway. It's all fun and good. Anyway, moving on. Let's see what I have here. Oh, I got this. This was a mail call that I got. I forget. It was from a site that calls itself Bonanza. I didn't even pay a full $10 for this, I don't believe. But this is Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, the sequel, which it's both a Blu-ray, a DVD, and digital code copy. It doesn't have the over sleeve like the other, but it's also a used copy, and it's okay by me. I'd say this one's not quite as good as the first. It gets a little bit more in there. It is an interesting story in a way, but we just don't see Maleficent be quite as magical. And it's more convoluted in a way, but it's interesting. You get kind of more background on what and who Maleficent is and everything, and the story kind of continues forward. Not to mention, also in the cast gets added Michelle Pfeiffer, whom she's always a nice actress to watch. I guess, unfortunately, she was in the villainous role this time, but what can you do? Okay. Next up, I picked this up, I believe it was last month sometime, at my local, one of my local Family Dollars for, before tax, $13. I still haven't opened it. It's the Hobbit trilogy. With all the Lord of the Rings. Now, with this one, unfortunately, it's not extended versions or anything like this. This is just the regular, theatrical versions, so don't get into all that with all this one, but hey, at least I get to see the theatrical versions. Can look for something with the extended editions and all later on, maybe, if I want to. I've been kind of putting off on getting into it much because, just like with the original Lord of the Rings, these films are pretty long. Of course, though, we do get Gandalf the Grey in here. We get Saruman the White, and, if I'm not mistaken, Radagast the Brown. So there's quite a bit of magic in there, along with a lot of interesting adventure. I mean, I'm interested to fire these up and see what I get after a bit. And then there's these, about four, well, not quite. This one was a mail call that I got too. This is the Craft Legacy, which is, kind of I think it came with this one, but I'm not sure since I've had out of it. From a, Jennifer Nielsen. Not sure, but anyway. This one, is a sequel to the original The Craft. I've had it for a bit. I got it, I think, last month or January, and just have not bothered to pop it in and watch it yet. It's, kind of interesting. I've heard it's not nearly as well liked as the original, which I can understand, but still, nice to see them take another one stab at. Also, Fairuza Balk, who played Nancy in the first, does make a cameo appearance here, though about at the very end of the film. So this should be interesting. And like I said, I'll go over these, give them a little bit of review and talk more about what I thought on each and everything over time. Some, again, I haven't even watched yet, so I couldn't do it adequately at that right now if I want to. But it's a later consideration. And then these four I actually got for free. You see, here at the apartment complex I live at, we have a laundry room, as you might imagine, and if somebody sticks something up on the tables in front, whether it's like, food from a food bank or old movies, books, whatever like that, basically that means free to a good home. So I found at one point where somebody left a box of DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff sitting there. And what did I do? I went through and found the ones that were titles I don't have but would probably like to add to my collection. And I set them aside to bring back, and after I did, I checked them all to make sure they still would come up and play and worked, and kept them, these four. While the others, my local game exchange retailer up there, it's not super, super great, but like for, say, regular DVDs, so long as they're in playable, okay condition, they'll give you, and they're on their list of what they'll buy, they'll give you a dime a piece for them, so I sold to them, like, I think around 20, made a little over $2, and then some more were in there the next day and gave me a few more and went up and got, I think I managed to sell another 3 or so. Made another 30, 40 cents. It's not a lot of money, but hey, it's whatever you can get in your pocket these days, especially with the way expenses are now. So I did what somebody else should, and I went up there and made what money I could on them and kept the ones that worked that I wanted. And among those are, this is the original, I guess 80s you would say, version of Clash of the Titans. I know everybody's probably a little bit more familiar with the one that came out, I think it was, early 2000s, 2010s? This one came out back, let me look, I know it's on 1981. I was born in around the end of 1982, so this was about a year or so, probably a little more before I was born, so it'll be interesting to pull up and watch. I mean, also you got stuff like on here, like, if I'm not mistaken, like Ray Harryhausen, who was always big and well known for his stop motion special effects and all. Such as like, what was it? I don't know if it's the Last Voyage of Sinbad, whatever. Somebody'd have to remind me. And King Kong and stuff like that. He did some of these stuff on here. And it shows, and it's always fun to watch with that. So I got this one for free. And then also in there were the Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring on DVD. Check out here, it's got that with both and the special features. Even the little card here with a little book with stuff. And I checked out, it all works. It's all fine. Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. That one's widescreen, so's this one. And again, it's got both, including the special features DVD. On here, it's on DVD, all this. And finally, in just plain full screen, not widescreen this time, Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, with both in there. Though, unfortunately, it doesn't have the little insert stuff here, but that's okay. I checked them all. They all work. I used to have copies of these of my own back when I still lived with before I left home. Haven't since, and I was thinking about recollecting these, and it's nice to get them all for free without having to go through having to, find and buy them, because that can sometimes get to be a little bit of a pain in the neck. I would have done it, though. Give me a second. Okay, just had to set something over there. Last but not least, I forget if I got this back in December or if it was January or what, but I also collected the full box set, all 8 seasons of the original series of Charmed on DVD. I think you can find it on Blu-ray now too, but I originally collected this back, I believe it was 2013, my first apartment here in Nacogdoches. And I was shopping at the local Walmart and picked up there. And I'll be darned if buying it online and having them ship out to me, I didn't pay about as much as I paid back in 2013, around $65 before everything else. But it's a pretty decent series. I mean, also the controversy, we're learning more about, what happened to Shannon Doherty leaving after season 3 and everything, and how all that went down, at least from their perspectives and all, which I'm pretty sure without the actual producers and all, who made the decisions to make those changes and all, deciding that they want to speak out and all, we'll probably never get the whole real story about the hows and whys, because really it would have been up to them, not the actresses. But anyway, it's a very, very well-beloved series. If you're like, say, Wiccan or Neo-Pagan, anything like that, and enjoy this type of stuff, this is one of those series which is a real fun watch and all. Sure, a lot of stuff on here is a little bit fictionalized, while there's a little bit of grounding in reality, to a minor degree. And it's a real fun watch and everything. I've taken a look into the 4-season reboot, or if not reboot, follow-up series they did, and I may get into it after a while, but for now, this is my jam when it comes to Charmed. What happened to the original copy I had, this was, I was in between homes for about a year and 2.5 months, a little more than that, and had to store some stuff in a storage facility, which got broken into even with a lock on it, like a lot of others. And my original copy of this, along with some other stuff, including a lot of my other magical books and stuff and all, were all stolen into something I had them in, and so I'm glad I recollected this. Back then, I'd watched her, I think it was somewhere in Season 5, or maybe the beginning of Season 6. Well, I don't remember where I was, and so I'm going through, I'm at somewhere in early Season 3 now. I decided I'd start over from the beginning. It's just fun to watch over again anyway. I mean, it doesn't matter that I've seen it before. I've been kind of lazy, but I'm being preoccupied enough that I haven't been, there was a time I was getting in here and watching an episode, maybe 1 in the morning, 1 in the, later at night. But I've been preoccupying myself with some other things too. Anyway, as you guys can probably tell, I visit my barber this evening. This is the way I prefer to look, technically. Clean shaven and all. No mustache, beard, or a lot of hair, but sometimes things do get grown out, and well, what are you gonna do? I paid about $32 for it, whereas I've got my own set of clippers and all, you know, in here, and I've got an acquaintance named Grady who would usually come by and for $10 shave everything off for me when I want to. But here, he's probably in TDC state or something like Penn facility right now, I guess, and I don't judge or anything, but as it goes, he hadn't been available, so I just had to go up to a place and pay $32 for this. Not too happy about it, but at least I got it done. Guarantee I'll start to look more woolly again in about 2 to 3 weeks. Never fails. Anyway, so there's all that. I just wanted to show that stuff off to you guys, give you guys a little bit more further content to take a look into for a bit before I got all the way gone on it. Also, I'm wearing this evening my Chinese dragon necklace pendant, which, yes, it's Chinese dragon style, but still has a magical thing. It's a little bit magical to me as far as I'm concerned. I mean, we'll have to get into at some point the origins and legends of dragons, but it goes a long way back. And the Chinese dragon version and all is a very interesting story. Then we've also got the way it's the European, and they really believe probably the earliest ones probably started, like a lot of things, back around where humanity started, back in Africa. So, excuse me, a little bit of an itch there. Anyway, I wear this sometimes just when I feel like it, because, hey, dragons, magical thing in a way, and I happen to think pretty well of them myself. Kind of like I'll wear the spider pendant when I feel that way. It's just one thing or another, you know? Anyway, I wanted to let you guys get a look into that, and I will take a look into reviewing and talking more about some of these films and movies some more as we go along. I figure for now it's okay for a little bit of filler content. Excuse me. No recommendations and links this evening. Usually when I do that, it comes from my subscriptions, which I refer to as my preferred YouTubers, because they're ones who I subscribe to and follow because I like their content, or I wouldn't bother with them. And I'll share links to videos and all when the content's cross-relevant. Anyway, I hope everyone got at least a little bit of enjoyment out of this video. If you enjoy this channel's content, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And please don't hesitate to leave any questions, comments, or suggestions down in the comment section below. As a matter of fact, tell me any of the little films and little TV stuff, shows like Charmed I just went over briefly here. Feel free to get in there in the comments. Tell me what you think about some of them. Go off. Tell me what you guys think. Like I said, I'm not going to really have much tolerance for anybody wanting to troll my stuff. But other than that, if you're just wanting to have an honest little comment or discussion, be my guest. In the meantime, I hope this channel has helped you, my dear audience members, to put a little bit more magic back into your lives. You guys take care, and I will have some more content for this channel coming up after a bit. As I said before, it's going to be a bit sparse here and there, just as I feel like it can get things going. But in the meantime, you guys take care. Have a wonderful Saturday morning, and hopefully I will see you all again in the next video.